Hi, everyone. All right, so we're live. We're just waiting for Carlos. He just checked into to a hotel. He's on the road, so that's why he's not on right at this moment, but he will be joining us in just a few moments. So hang tight while I help him get sorted out. So just give me one quick moment. All right, I don't know why he's having trouble, but he is. So let me try this again. Okay, so hang tight, everyone. We're waiting for Carlos. He's on the road right now. So he just checked into airport. He's trying to get onto the stream, but he's having a little bit of trouble. So I just resent him the link. But we're going to be talking about the leak from the Supreme Court on Roe v. Wade, and that's a very contentious discussion, obviously. So once Carlos joins us, we'll get started. And for anyone who's just hopped on the stream, you're watching Stand Up Fight Back, where we discuss strategy and analysis for the progressive movement. And I'm one of your co-hosts on the show. I'm Margot Paez. We're here every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we simulcast on Facebook and YouTube. So please be sure to follow us and hit the subscribe button and tell all of your friends, because we are here every Sunday. Let's see. Why is he not? Okay, he just joined, but I'm having trouble now adding him to the stream. Okay, let's see. What is the deal here? I'll just go. Hang on. Oh, okay, he's spinning. There he is. There you are, Carlos. Your connection is a little rough there at that hotel. In fact,
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but your video is a little slow. Yeah, you're very frozen right now. I think that the hotel does not have good Wi-Fi. Maybe you should try without your video. So Carlos has been on the road. He's been very busy. Let's see. I wonder if I can share some pictures. Let's see. No, I don't really want to share slides. Hang on. If I share. Oh, he's gone. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have some problems today with Carlos getting onto the stream. So Carlos has been traveling. He was in Miami. He was doing stuff with the AIDS Health Foundation. You know, he works there. He's one of their directors. He sets up food banks for them and farmers markets with fresh food from local farms that are sold at cost to people in the community so that they can afford fresh food. So he was in Miami, and then he just landed in Chicago, I think. So his connection is not very good right now. So I'm hoping he hops back on. Let's see if we can get him back in to the stream. Carlos? Oh, I see you now, but your connection is not very good at this hotel. Carlos? Maybe we should table this because you're not moving and I don't hear you.
Hello.
Carlos?
Is it a lot better now?
A little. I think your connection is not very good.
All right. So give me one quick second. I'm going to move to the other side.
Okay.
The problem is my... Anyways, good evening to you.
All right, a little bit better.
Yes, hold on, please.
Sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties today. It's a little bit hard when Carlos is on the road, so we're doing what we can with the hotel connection that he has.
And I literally just walked into this place.
Yeah.
So I think I'm set up, but we'll see right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Carlos.
Let's open. Here we go.
All right, so Carlos, Roe v. Wade, what's going on there? Or maybe tell us a little bit about what you've been doing. It's so. I don't think we're gonna get your video too well tonight. I don't think the connection is good enough for streaming.
All right. So, is it still freezing?
Yeah, it's dropping a lot of frames.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm using the Wi-Fi here at the hotel.
Yeah, I don't think they give you enough bandwidth to stream.
Got it. I wonder if I can disconnect from that and you just use my Wi-Fi, my own Wi-Fi. Give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties again. We're hoping to get Carlos on and in a way where we can actually see him right now. He's at a hotel. He just got there, literally just got there. Just checked into this hotel in Chicago. He's on the road doing lots of great work for the AIDS Health Foundation, and he just happens to be away from a decent internet connection. So he's going to try a different connection, and then we'll get him back on, and hopefully we'll be able to do the show as planned. So please hang tight, and I hope everyone is having a really great Mother's Day and that you were able to spend time with your mom. Okay, Carlos, let's try this now. Yeah, this is a lot better.
Wow, that's using my own phone Wi-Fi, so
yeah, I don't.
Really
The hotel Wi-Fi is not designed for streaming generally.
So I'm here in beautiful downtown Chicago. So as you can see, I got a nice view here at the hotel. But anyways, good evening, everybody. And I have to literally hold my phone for the next hour because I don't have a tripod with me.
Well,
and
I don't think we're gonna do a full hour, but because now it's 10:16 p.m. and I have to go to bed. But we'll hit close. We'll squeeze in as much as we can. The last time I was in Chicago was when I covered the NATO summit in 2012. And I ran around all of those streets chasing protesters and lots of police.
Yes, I remember. I very strongly remember that time. But I am here. I just actually arrived from Florida, South Florida. I was out there doing some work for Food for Health. And so I'm very excited about the policies that are going to be coming about. This is a top secret mission that I have today, but we are here in Chicago. It's a beautiful city. It's kind of cold, actually. Of course, coming from Florida, anywhere you go is going to seem to be cold, right? So I literally had to get my sweater on because it felt cold. But very excited. I went to Tennessee as well. Met with our organization out there. We probably going to be making an announcement. Not sure yet, but a lot of exciting work. I went to the farmlands over in Florida, which are very few farmlands, but I did get to go and visit some of the farmlands, and very excited to see some of the work that is coming about in the next few months through Food for Health. As you know, Food for Health is dedicated to address food insecurity, and in multiple cities throughout the United States. Soon we're going to be going to Puerto Rico as well. So there's a lot to talk about once we get all those programs started. But Margaret, this evening there's a lot of people that are very, very worried because of the recent revelation that took place regarding the Supreme Court and uh, the the rights of women for choice. Or let's talk a little bit about that. I think this is the topic that everybody's is concerned about.
Right. So there was a last week there a leak. There was a leak from the Supreme Court of a majority ruling, a draft majority ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, and no one knows who leaked it or what their motivations were for doing it. But what we do know is that the conservative justices on the Supreme Court seem posed to overturn the 1973 ruling. And this federal ban on abortion, if overturned, would give states complete control over setting legislation to absolutely ban abortions, period, in their state. So people are obviously worried about this for very good reason. I think that people should also be upset that the Democratic Party did nothing to codify Roe v. Wade into law through Congress, which would have been a much more difficult thing to overturn, right? So the question is why did Democrats wait on this? They could have passed an abortion bill under Obama. And in fact, my understanding is he ran on a platform in which he said he would do just that. And then, even though he had majorities, he did not push his party to pass this legislation. Now, we have Biden in office also with slim majority in both the House and in the Senate, and we don't see any possibility, it seems, of that unless they remove the filibuster. But it doesn't seem that there's any motivation to do that either. So, but in the meantime, Mitch McConnell is threatening to try to pass legislation that would put a federal ban on abortion. So, you know, the Democratic Party is not doing us any favors in terms of trying to make this situation easier, and I think that they really made a mistake in waiting and pushing this issue down the line for decade after decade after decade. So that's where we stand right now with in terms of abortion and the right to decide what to do with your body.
Right. What makes this very dangerous is if they go forward with this, there's other rights that will be also that they are going to be pursuing. You know, that a lot of people are nervous about because it really empowers them. It empowers the right Republicans, you know, the the issues that they have been steadily fighting against. You know, the right for the LGBT community. You know, we have so many issues that would line up under this that will fall right behind this particular ruling if the Supreme Court goes forward with this. So very dangerous situation for so many different reasons. And let me say this because I do come from a background of a religious background, where I have served as a pastor of a church, a Christian church. So you know I hear what they're saying and what they are pushing on this regarding, you know, uh, rights for life, etc. But it's a big hypocrisy when it comes down to even to Christian churches, because we have seen over the years that they have used this as a talking point when in reality you have people sleeping on the streets. You have people that go hungry. And why is not the same passion to fight for those people? If you talk about, you want to stand for life, but yet you see children go hungry, you see that you are supporting guns, that's hypocrisy at the highest level. So it's just a front for hate, and it's a front for so many other things that over the years the Republican Party and its hateful agenda has been pushing for. And when it comes down to women, it's taking away their rights as individuals. And I'm gonna say this because, again, we have a side that comes from the religious side of this, that may use the Bible in and some passages to try to justify it for this. But the fact of the matter is that God didn't make no robots. He gives us the right for us to make choices as individuals. He doesn't force anybody to do something. And that's the side that they don't want to tell you or understand, and what they are wrong. Because, you know, just like there's a lot of things that can go against, you know, uh, hurting, let's say, a fetus or a new life that is being born. Why are they not fighting tobacco? Why are they not fighting against drinking and all that stuff, right? Because those things do affect that. But see, those are the things that they don't want to trample upon because it's not going to go well for them. So they pretty much using this as a way to justify their actions. So I see a lot of wrong in this. And if you care about life, you got to care about life at all stages, not just when the person is in the womb, but what about after that? What about you know newborn babies and you know the needs that they have? We bringing them into a pretty much messed up world, and then you don't want to take care of those babies because you want to take away their the programs to sustain their lives. So there's a lot of stuff that goes with this.
Yeah, I never understood this fervent desire to stop people from having an abortion, and yet they, after the baby is born, they don't care what happens anymore. Like, oh, we brought you into the world now, sink or swim, right? It's it's something that I find completely illogical, but that's never stopped anyone. Lack of logic has never stopped anyone from making choices that made zero sense. But yeah, so this is concerning. And I think I was looking at a few articles, and I found one that I thought was a little humorous because it was in the Washington Post, and the headline was Clarence Thomas says he worries respect for institutions is eroding. And I couldn't help but laugh because, I wonder why, right? Because it seems that the institutions are going against what the majority of people want, right? The the recent poll that I saw is that, little more than 50% of the population opposes a ban on abortion. It's not popular. And yet we're having we saw the Supreme Court have a set of judges specifically picked for this very purpose, which was to overturn Roe v. Wade. And now they are following on that promise, although openly they denied that they would ever do that. If you recall, Kavanaugh and Barnett or Bart, what's her name?
Right.
The most recent one, right? They all denied it. They all denied that they would, or they didn't want to answer or whatever. But and and they made promises to certain senators saying that, oh, we won't touch Roe v. Wade, right? But here they are, because that's why they're there.
That was the whole.
And yeah, and they're following through on that. And so, yeah, if people, I think, are not trusting institutions, it's because they have no reason to trust them when the institutions don't protect them. So I think that's the problem, Clarence, and you're part of the problem. The justices are completely disconnected with
Right.
with
It,
where Americans are right now.
right. Clarence is a big part of the problem. He's corrupt. His wife, we see what she's doing. The unfortunately, the Supreme Court has become an arm of the right wing, part of the Republican Party. Let's call it for what it is. That's what the Supreme Court is now. We have citizens that are literally, influencing. Talk about Gigi Thomas influencing, the Supreme Court. He can say it's not all he wants to. That's garbage, because we know that that's his wife. What is he gonna go against his wife? It's like silly. So the problems are very serious because Republican Party does not care about life. They don't. Well, I'm talking about the overall agenda. And I know that there may be some few Republicans that may be okay, but when you look at their agenda, it's very anti-life. They're concerned about money, corporations. I just came from a red state right now, talking about Florida. Do you know that in Florida, it is against the law for you to be able to set up a food pantry outside and give it out to the people? They got laws against it.
They actually have a law that says you cannot give out food for free standing outside.
Right. That's the Republican Party people. These are the people that tells you that they are so for life. They're the people that are defending those gun-loving people that are out there. I was writing and everybody drives crazy in Florida. If somebody like really got so upset at me because I went in front of him. It was my lane, but he wanted to go in front of me, and he's out there like, yeah, like, ready to have a heart attack. And I was reminded of the fact that Florida, people have, they carry concealed weapons.
Yeah.
They fought really hard for that. But what about the right for a woman to make her own choice? They fight for a right to carry a gun, but what about the right of a woman to make her own decision to for her body?
Yeah.
Taking away from her is pretty much you dictating. You are telling her, to be a mother. That's her choice. No, it should be her choice.
Yeah,
That-
a child is a massive responsibility. It's a financial investment. It takes up it changes your entire life and takes up your entire life. If you had all sorts of plans and you weren't planning on having a kid, that's going to change all of your plans. And what is your alternative? You're going to put that kid in foster care, adoption. That it doesn't make sense. That and the arguments that they used, they tried to use some neuroscience, a study in neuroscience, to claim that the fetus could feel pain. And the author of this paper was an Italian neuroscientist, said that my paper in no way makes this claim, and they are misusing the findings of my paper to make this claim. But it's not possible to make that leap. And so what we're seeing too is the weaponization of science for the purpose of claiming that just that a fetus feels pain, therefore you can't have an abortion. I mean, even on the crux of that, I don't think that argument stands, right? I mean, so what if the fetus can register pain? What does that even mean about how it even interprets that pain? So what that there's a neurological signal? I mean, is it even consciously aware of that signal to begin with? You know, there's a lot of additional questions. It's not just pain as a measure. It's not just a heartbeat, right? You know, if you cannot even, you know, acknowledge and recognize that you're feeling anything, are you really alive? I mean, I don't really think you are. I think that this is ridiculous. But so what they're saying that a woman who has an abortion is a murderer and should be treated as such, which is absolutely crazy because, you know, for so
Well,
many, like, scientifically, I mean, it's insane.
right. Well, the real murderers are those legislatures that are passing all these laws against the people that are suffering, that are hurting, that are evicting families. They are crying with their children in their arms, saying, you know, why are you taking my home away? You know what I mean? And they out there smoking their cigar, you know what I mean? In the pockets of Wall Street, you know what I mean? Supporting them that are hurting the world. What about their pain of those people? What about the pain of the people that are coming to the border because they're fleeing, you know, violence, extreme violence? You don't care about their lives? Those lives are not important. So stop
No.
that garbage that you are pro-life. You're not no pro-life. You're anti-life. You choose the science that you want to follow. What about the science, you know what I mean, that is telling us about climate change, that we will literally harm millions of people? You don't care about that life?
Well, they don't even believe that climate change is happening. I've heard the most ridiculous arguments against climate change recently, and they're completely based off of a lack of understanding of science and modeling, and it's just really sad. I don't know where they get this really bad information from or who's telling them. Obviously, there's some source out there that is making these claims and they're picking it up and they think, oh, I'm really smart. Yeah, you know, those scientists, they're just lying to me, and I'm gonna poke holes in their theories with this and this and this. And anyone who knows anything about science hears these claims and they sound so stupid, but the people who are making them seriously think that they have one upped the scientists. and and when you I think when you have such a disconnect like that, I don't even know where you go from there, because there's no middle ground, there's no foundation to work with a group of people like that. And I think it's the same thing with what's happening with this abortion issue. And you're absolutely right. Like, do they care about what happens to migrants or people at the border? Absolutely not. They're in the Guardian. There was an article that came out today, actually, where they're saying that migrants are being forced to leave their personal belongings, including files and passports that they could use into when they're being processed. I mean, why are they being forced to do that? Why are they basically being put at a disadvantage to be able to
Right.
seek asylum in this country?
Right. What
They
about
can't. I mean,
separating?
there's just so much hypocrisy.
Right. What about separating the families? And some
Hmm.
families, you know, are still probably separated from their children. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? God doesn't like that. Let me tell you that again. So-called Christian, God hates that. That's anti-God. So if you want to claim that you're fighting for life, you know, for someone that is not unborn, what about the people that have been born and that been separated from their mothers? That stinks. That stinks in the nostrils of God. You know, we're talking about, you know, taking away, uh, you know, children from the arms of mothers. That's that's godless. You know, that's evil. That is evil.
Yeah.
Don't tell me
But I mean,
about love.
I agree. You know, it's just I think that this whole abortion thing, I think it's a form of control. I think it's a form of patriarchy in terms of controlling women and basically saying your role is to bear children and that's it. You have no say. That's your job. Your job is to make babies and you're going to make all the babies that that are mad, the two cells connect in your body and you're going to pump that baby out because that's your job. You have no other job. And it's misogynist and it's just a law to control women. And I think that's the bottom line because as we've outlined already, there's incredible hypocrisy in this whole issue around abortion and the right to choose whether to have one
That
because
and that has to be determined by the person. You know, it has to be determined by the woman. If she wants to keep the baby, she'll keep it. If not, that's something that she has to answer to. That's something that she has to live with. And you know, it is painful the kind of suffering that women go through, even after they've been shamed for doing whatever they did. That's their business. It's not my business. It should not be our business. It should not be a man's business to tell a woman what to do with her body. So it's just irresponsible. It is wrong. And like I say, it's anti-God. What you are doing is literally anti-God. Don't hide behind the Bible. That's hypocritical. You know what I mean? Look, I gotta say it
oh,
the way because we see the levels of racism coming from the Republican Party. That is anti-life. If you're gonna be racist against people and keep them down, oppress them, enslave them, how can you tell me that that's life? But again, this is the Republican Party. Now, Margaret, this is really important because what I am reading right now, that this may actually backfire on the Republican Party because it's going to energize the Democratic base. People are really upset about this. Independents are upset. It's a lot of people upset because we have more serious problems in this world that we need to be worrying about, and we are seeing the corruption of the Supreme Court. People are upset the rulings, how they again rule for corporations. Corporations are people. It's like it's insanity. Who are these people? They're just an extension of the Republican Party or big corporations. It's all about money.
yeah, I don't think we probably shouldn't have a Supreme Court at this point. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. We also don't need a Senate either because the Senate is obstructionist as well. But I mean, effectively, we have a very, very dysfunctional government, and we have a Democratic Party that has not done enough in terms of these issues. And as I said at the beginning, the Democratic Party had since 1973 to codify v. Roe v. Wade into law so that this overturning of Roe v. Wade would be inconsequential. And I think that there was always a risk that this would happen. And they sat on it. Clinton,
Right.
Obama, they
I mean,
had an opportunity to do
how many
this.
supposed to be in office? How many? You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? It's like these people have look both sides of the both sides of the political field are so corrupt, so bad. They have not taken care of the people, and people see that. We see how forgotten the people are. You know, I just came from Tennessee, another red state. I cannot believe, my heart was broken to see that the need of the people right there. People are suffering, they're hurting real bad. But yet we are playing politics with all these things. It's garbage, people. It is garbage. They don't care about us.
Yeah, yeah. And these people in Tennessee, it's a red state. They vote for Republicans, and the Republicans do nothing for them, but they're also tricked into voting against their own interests. They're made to believe that there's only a certain way to do things, and that way is very much based off of the individual, I think. And I think that I was thinking about this recently. I was thinking about how in first of all, I was reading about indigenous culture and the the politics, the political social structures of indigenous societies in the Americas before Europeans colonized the continent. And one thing that I thought was interesting was that, you have a community within a particular society or a First Nation, whatever. And within that society, everybody benefits, at least everybody gets enough, right? They have a roof over their head, they get food, they have community. Outside of that, maybe that isn't shared with other tribes or societies, but within that society there is. So I think that what we've done is we've shrunk this mutual aid that normally would be found in a big society. And there was several million people on this continent before Europeans arrived. So they shrank that from a society at scale, caring for each other, at least providing the bare minimum, and saying only at the nuclear family scale is that okay. So outside of the nuclear family, you're in competition with everybody else. Your little family, your little household, that's your little tribe. And outside of that, you're all fending for and fighting each other for the same thing. And that's how our society has been built. But it's completely destructive, and it's not the way that a healthy society should be designed. But we have been brainwashed and programmed, really indoctrinated into this way of thinking. And I think that it makes a lot of sense because, for example, and if you look at your neighbors, maybe it's a little bit different for you, Carlos, but for me, I don't really know my neighbors. I don't know them that well. I mean, even in my apartment building, I don't know who lives next door to me. I don't know who lives in the one door down the hall, one door up the hall, or across from my apartment. I don't. They don't know who I am either. We don't have a sense of community beyond ourselves. And I think that this contributes to part of the problems that we have in this society. And so if we thought more of ourselves as being a broader community in which we looked after each other, then I think that we would have a very different society. But it takes reframing what society is meant to be in order to get to that point. And that's the struggle is to get people to unlearn all of this highly individualist thinking and every man for himself and pick yourself up by your bootstraps type of an attitude, because that I think is actually counter what human nature really is, which is it there's an evolutionary component, which is to care for each other and that helps push the species forward. So I think that is part of why we see people in red states voting against their own interests, because they've basically been told that no, it's a dog eat dog world. You have to fight for whatever you can get, and if you have nothing, it's your fault. There's no one there who should save you or help you.
Right. You know what is funny? Because again, coming from Florida, You have the Cuban community that, are very, very Republican because they've been
Mm-hmm.
brainwashed Republicans, and they are quickly ready to call out, anything that is not Republican like, or thinking as socialist, but they are the
Mm-hmm.
biggest recipients of social programs. They're the
Hmm.
biggest recipient, but yet they call against socialism, and this is exactly what they're receiving. How crazy is
Hmm.
that? You know,
Wow,
but
I didn't know that.
yes, they pretty much get a lot of goodies, you
Huh.
know, and it's just insanity the way we have been programmed. People have been programmed, and we are programmed to be divisive, to go against each other, to compete against each other. That's what this whole system. That's how it works. It's like we label everybody. That the people across the street, they are our enemies because they Republicans, or because they this, or because they that, or because they Muslims, or because or because they LGBT. We hate each other. We divide it. And this is exactly what they want. They want us to be fighting each other. We gotta be able to respect each other. I don't care who you are or what you. None of my business. You're a human being. We're supposed to be just taking care of each other and respect each other. And if somebody's struggling, we should do whatever we can to help that person. Is that so hard to do? You know what I mean? That's patriotic when you go and take care of the people that are hurting. You want to be a patriot? Take care of the community. It doesn't matter how big people think that the more flags you have, that makes you more American. That makes you, ah, God, Lord. Somebody, carrying, because you think that the biggest Bible that you carry, like that's going to make you more holy. Or, the bigger cross you hang in your neck, that's going to make you more holy. It doesn't, people. Not if you're living like a devil. And this is exactly what a lot of lawmakers are doing. They want to hide behind the Bible, but their policies are very evil. And that's the best way I can describe it for people to understand. But that's the reality that we live in. It's
Yeah.
how big of a flag you have that's going to make you more American. What going to make you really more American is by taking care of your neighbor. That's what we're supposed to be. Are we supposed to be a Christian nation? Well, take care of your neighbor. Why you're not doing that? It's all who drives the biggest car, who's got the biggest boat, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the U.S. And we have a
Right.
very, very, very intense consumer culture. So when you think about what's American culture, what do you think? Like, for example, I think about what's German culture. I'm going to think of beer, beer, excuse me, sauerkraut, pretzels, lederhosen, yodeling, things like that, right? When I think of American culture, I think of Pepsi, Pizza Hut, you know, uh, cars, guns. Like, that's American culture. Most of it is corporate culture that represents the US in people's minds. It's not anything uniquely cultural, identifiable as culture. Maybe grilling hot dogs and burgers on the 4th of July is uniquely American, but beyond that, Pepsi, Coke, Pizza Hut, Walmart, this is what represents American culture. So we're very consumer centric in this country. And
Right.
and it's just because we're also extremely capitalist in this country. And capitalism is all about competition. So again, like this idea of the individual, pick yourself up off your bootstrap, it's up to you, dog eat dog world. I'm pretty sure that this just comes out of the ideas of capitalism and competition in the market just merging with a society to the point where we as people see ourselves competing in a market of people. And every aspect of American life is framed around market competition to an extreme. And it's very destructive.
Right.
Very, very, very destructive.
Well,
And that's why we're here.
right. Capitalism is very destructive. What does the Bible say? Is that the love of money is the root of all evil. And this is pretty much their God. It's all about, how much you can have, how much material you can possess. Churches preach that. The gospel of want, is all about, money and these big and these pastors of these pastors of these huge churches, become, multimillionaires, getting, 4 or 5 airplanes because God wants them to fly faster. I don't know. You know what I mean? Is that kind of mentality is sick? It's evil. Again, this is what is being preached. You have the Trump mentality that is all about me, me, me. It's all about us, not us, but me. How I can get more and more and more. You know, what does the Bible has to say about that? Meantime, you have people that are sick, that are hungry, that are destitute, that have no place to lay their heads. But you're not preaching about that. You're not talking about that. You're not moving a finger about that. You're not as passionate as you are for abortions for the people that are living and that are hurting. So again, your Christianity stinks. I say that again, your Christianity stinks. When your love is money, when your love is yourself, when your love is nothing but materialism, how big of a church you want to build, but yet there's hurricanes and you don't want to let people come and find refuge in your church because you don't want to get it dirty. You don't want it to
that
smell.
that's that Joel Osment guy, right? Talk about getting rich off of
Right,
Christianity.
right. I know because, like I say, I have been part of the faith movement, but faith in the right way. You know what I mean? Making sure that the poor, are being taken care of, that the sick, are being taken care of. That if people are hungry, you're not just gonna pray for them. You're gonna do something about it. You could pray for me all you want to, but if I'm hungry, you're not gonna feed me, and you're not gonna help me. It's yeah, your prayers are nice, but it's not gonna do nothing for me. And see, folks, that's the problem right now with a lot of these people that claim that they love life and that they are fighting for life. You're not fighting for nothing. You're fighting for yourselves. Make yourself feel good. Well, a lot of these women, a lot of these mothers are left to themselves with their children, hungry, looking for a place to sleep. How many, families out there? How many moms are out there? You don't worry about them no more, right? Some of them don't have health care. Oh, you don't care about them now. They had their babies. That's all you care about. But then what now? Come on, people. This is the reality that we need to wake up to. But elections are coming. I think that there's an opportunity right now for people to mobilize and people to start asking these hard questions. We need to be understanding that, and we need to pressure. I don't care what side of the aisle they are. Then we need to find out why these people are not working for us and passing legislature and passing good laws, good policies that create safety nets for the people,
Right.
the poor.
Yeah, I think a good call to action before we wrap up is Jessica Cisneros' race. in Texas in the 28th congressional district. She made it to a runoff, and she is running against an incumbent Democrat who is against abortion. He's pro-life. And we need Jessica Cisneros. She's a progressive, and I'm pretty sure that the Progressive Democrats of America endorsed her. So this is a candidate that you should support and volunteer on her campaign and get her elected, because we need people like Jessica Cisneros in Congress. She could grow the squad. I believe the runoff is on May 24th, so it's at the end of this month. So if you have time to volunteer, make phone calls, do texting on behalf of her campaign, please do that. She is, again, Jessica Cisneros. She's running in the 27th district, congressional district in Texas. And the incumbent is Henry Cuellar, and he, again, is, my understanding, he's pro-life. He's against abortion. So we really don't need him. As a Democrat, we don't need a Democrat who is against abortion and against women's rights. So Jessica Cisneros. And also, Carlos, you were talking about, the right kind of Christianity. I think this is also a good time to remind people about the Poor People's Campaign, which was one of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final missions. And he was on the Poor People's Campaign before he was assassinated in 1968. And Dr. Reverend William Barber and others have picked up the mantle and are carrying it now, and they're marching and they're doing actions and bringing attention to this issue. And this is the real Christianity, right? This is the right kind that we should be seeing. This one that cares about others, that cares about the most vulnerable in society. So if you have time to put in with the Poor People's Campaign, please do. They can definitely use your efforts.
Yeah.
Carlos, any other ideas?
Well, you hit it right in the spot, because that's the real deal right there. Is and again, I'm gonna quote some Bible, because this is what it's all about right now. The pro-lifers quoting some scripture, but then they forget to quote the other side of the scripture. You cannot pick and choose your scriptures, just like you pick and choose your science. The Bible says that you got to be doers of the word, not just hearers only. So if you see someone in the middle of the street that has been kicked around and down and out, what are you doing? Crossing to the other side? Jesus talked about that. That's your neighbor right there. Are you gonna pick them up? Are you gonna heal their wounds? Are you gonna take care of that one? I mean, Jesus gave those examples. So you cannot pick and choose, who should have life and who should not. And if you are going against people that are suffering and you're turning your face the other way, you are the kind of people that really came against Jesus. Talking about Bible now, folks. Progressives know Bible. They know the. I want to tell you that, folks, because this is the kind of stuff that drives people away from the church. When they see the hypocrisy, the biggest loudmouth that talk about all these sexual predators are the predators. They're doing their thing in the church, stealing from the poor to enrich themselves so they can drive a Maserati. Come on, folks. Jesus, came in a donkey, right? He didn't have a plate to lay his head on. That's what the scripture teaches. And you're gonna side with corporate. You're gonna side with the big investors and the developers. That tells me a lot about you. That tells me that your heart is not in the right place. It is hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. You know what I mean? That's what the scripture teaches. Why? Because they are so, they grab into their possessions. So, look, for us, we got to stay focused. We got to continue to work. We got to continue to support our women everywhere. You know, they have a right to make their own choices, and whatever the choice is, that's their God-given right. God didn't make no robots. I say it again. God didn't make no robots. He allows us to
Drum,
choose what we
drum,
want.
drum, 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 drum. God didn't make no robot. I could turn that into a
So, all
song.
right.
Sorry.
Uh, you guys, we appreciate you guys. We again want to dedicate this broadcast today to our mothers, mothers everywhere, the fighting women. You know, you guys are the salt of the earth. You guys are the light of the world, lighting up, shining. You know, so moms, I love to you. We love you guys. Mother's Day to you.
Carlos? Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, she got a nice treat. My siblings took her to Long Beach and they had really good food apparently. Yeah, near the Queen Mary.
And
But
every
Carl, go
and
ahead.
day should be Mother's Day. Every single day should be Mother's Day.
It's true.
And the way you treat your mother tells it speaks loud about you. How you treat your mom. Treat your mom well.
Right.
Love her. She makes
Yeah.
sacrifices that you cannot imagine. I understand that there may be exception here and there, but overall, mothers are courageous. They make sacrifices that they have that unconditional love that no one else can give you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
Mark.
Carlos, thank you, Carlos. It's time for us to go because I need to go to bed. But before we sign off, I want to know what you're looking forward to this week.
Oh my goodness! So tomorrow I'm gonna be meeting with some of the black farmers here in Chicago.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it's some really interesting things that are developing. We're gonna be talking to folks here. I'm excited because a week from tomorrow, uh, we're gonna be going to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. So a lot of work to be done everywhere. I'm learning a lot. I'm seeing a lot. I'm hurting a lot. My heart is hurting because when I see the people the way they are hurting, it just breaks your heart. Especially when you see some that have so much and then some that have nothing. I'm seeing that in a big way right now, going to different states. And but I'm also seeing a lot of heart by a lot of people. So shout out to all the people that are doing the good work, standing and fighting for the outcast, for the unwanted, for the poor, for the oppressed. Shout out to you that you stand up for them. And with the little resources that you have, you fight so hard and you're making a big difference in people's lives. We love you. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret.
Well, thanks, Carlos. And thanks to everybody for sticking with us. We had a little bit of technical difficulties at the beginning, but we got it together in the end. So thank you very much. As always, you have been watching Stand Up Fight Back, where we discuss strategy and analysis for the progressive movement. I'm your co host, Margot Paez. I'm a scientist, engineer, and occasional journalist. And over here is the wonderful Carlos Marroquin, an amazing grassroots organizer and traveler now. Amazing, wonderful traveler, going from state to state, meeting with people. We air every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and tell all your friends about us because we're here every Sunday evening. Don't forget, set a reminder, put us on your calendar. We'll be here. Right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.